Hey y'all, hey. Okay, so listen, I want to tell y'all story time. Okay, so pay attention. Okay, so if you see the title, it says what it says. Okay, so here's the story time. There once was a mother who had a little girl, and this was back in the day. The little girl was um, the little girl was not faithful to the family, loyal to the family. And this was a problem because the family had a lot of money. Had a lot of money. They had companies. I don't know why I keep on doing this. If you saw my last live, I was just like, oh my God, my hat. Okay, so anyway, um, the family had a lot of money, right? So the mother wanted to kind of control her daughter, right? So she thought the way that she could control the daughter was to uh, have sex with the little girl. You can run that back if you want to hear it, but I'm going to repeat it. She thought that the way that she could control her daughter, the child, is to have uh, sex with the little girl. And so she did. And what happened was the little girl became obsessed with the mother. The little girl became so obsessed with the mother, she couldn't do her schoolwork. She couldn't think straight. She couldn't, hardly do anything that she was supposed to do as a little girl. She was no longer um, just a natural child anymore. The little girl was basically ruined. Um, but with the child behaving in this way, it embarrassed the mother, right? And so, because the mother was so embarrassed, she abandoned the child basically to the grandmother. So, of course, this made the child even more insane. Um, that's why there's rules, okay? Because you don't know what your child's purpose is in this life, and so you don't want to tamper with that, right? You don't want to tamper with that. But a lot of mothers do because that's what their mothers did. They want to have some control. A lot of times when you find a parent that is beating a child, it's because they're trying to control the child. They want to control it. And so they will use pain, they will use um, bribery, and yes, they do use sex. Okay. And that's just the way it is. The number, okay, so what motivates people? The two primal uh, desires, food and sex. Food and sex. And that's how some parents control their kids. Parents who withhold food. A lot of times the child just needs to be secure and loved, right? So this leads me to my second one. There are some kids who actually desire to have a relationship with their parents. This is usually um, boys with their mothers, but there are girls who are in the same way competing with their mother for their father's attention and affection. Yes, it does happen. And I remember Angelina Jolie had a bird that was so infatuated with her. Um, it does happen. It does happen, y'all. And lastly, this story is about uh, an uncle and a nephew. So the boy's dad um, was killed by his mom, right? And the reason why she killed him was because that the husband had slept with the sister-in-law, his wife's sister. And so the wife 86'd him and the sister. And so the wife went to jail, right? And so the child didn't have anyone, right? So what happened was the uncle stepped in. The uncle stepped in to be there for his nephew. Well, we ended up with some blurred lines because the child was very needy. The child was very insecure. The child was very weak. And the uncle tried to get the child to be more masculine, to be more tough. And it backfired. It backfired. Became even more traumatized, which of course made him behave more needy, more emotional, more skittish. And these are all considered female traits. So the wolves noticed that about the boy. So what would they do? Attack him. And the uncle can't be everywhere at all times. And the uncle had his own children and wife and responsibilities and stuff. There was no one there who could basically um, build a fort around this little boy who went through so much trauma. And with his natural and with his natural um, proclivity to be emotional and all of that, this kid went through it. Okay. So, as a last ditch effort, the boy joined the military. And in the military, he was able to just follow orders, and it was very good for him. And he was very successful at that. Yay, a win, victory, right? So, the boy was a success in his military career. And he met his wife in the military, doing so good. But back home, guess what happened? The uncle died. The uncle died, and the boy had more drama. But however, he had his military training, so he hid it, right? But what he was starting to do is sneak off and participate in different things, experiment in different things. Long story short, what happened? Long story short, he had all these kids, a lot of kids. He also cheated on his wife, just like his dad had cheated on his mom. But the woman that he had married did not kill him. And the person that he cheated on her with, she just left. She went on about her business. And she gave custody of the kids to him. And she went on and lived her life. Okay. Um, so what happened? Well, he got older. His uncle had passed, and he was leading a double life. He was looking into all of the things that he was curious about. He was out here in these streets turning over rocks and jumping in puddles, right? And talking to strangers, accepting candy from strangers. Well, what happened was he got to be a granddad and was very sick. He was in the store in a public place and he lost control of his nether regions, if you know what I'm talking about. And it was very embarrassing for him, okay, because a lot of people knew him. But that happened. When he went to the hospital, they ran tests, they took bloods, they um, did all those things, and he turned out to be HIV positive. HIV positive, honey. And that is a true story. What is the point of this that I'm telling you? I'm telling you, life is hard. Life is tough. And being a scientist is good. However, even scientists where they protect themselves, right? They have safety glasses on, goggles, they wear gloves, they have on their lab coat so drippings of the experiment does not get all over their clothes. When it comes to sex and sexuality, I think you need to do what is going to be most successful to you. When you're molested or whatever, that is not a hallmark for you to go out and become a molester. Also, if you are a survivor of child rape or abduction, or it is not a sign from the universe that you need to go out and also abduct and rape and pillage and all these things. That's not what that means. Okay. That is not what that means. What has happened to you happens to most kids, especially if they do not have parents who are vigilant. And most parents are. The only parents that are not vigilant are normally those who have an addiction or those who have some type of a mental impairment. But most parents want to know where you're going, where you're at, who your friends, what you're doing, when you're gonna be back, how you getting there, how you getting back, what you gonna be weighing, okay? Because they're trying to prevent what happened to them happening to you. That's normal. The reason why they're doing that, because some parents are hyper vigilant about protecting their kids because they were not protected. Okay. Sometimes, as you get older and you're going to be more independent, which is normal, and it will make your parent worry a little bit more, but you just have to remind them that you raised me well and I'm not going to take undue risks and I'm going to be okay. And even if you don't say that, the parents have to get to that place in time because you can't stay with them forever. One day, the parent is going to pass away. One day, you're going to pass away. And when you do, you don't want to leave this world unfulfilled, unaccomplished, right? So, what's in your heart to do? If you want to see the world, if you want to travel, if you want to sample different food, um, you cannot allow a childhood experience to keep you from being able to do all of the things that are in your heart to do. Understand that we all have to leave here. So you might as well go ahead on and live your life. Live your life. So that's it for my story time. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.